Detective Comics number 8, written by Tony S. Daniel, art also by Tony S. Daniel. Last issue was end of an arc, and genuinely out of my memory. I cannot remember it at all. So this issue picks up completely detached from that, and it kind of follows after the events of Batman the Dark Knight number 7, and also the backup story that I believe went along with this comics issue number 4, which I would have covered in episode number 26. It's standalone. Just assume it's standalone and accept what I'm telling you here. So we open up, Catwoman's busting out of a building, and Batman's just saying like, Catwoman, she's a hero but a thief and a lover, question mark. But right now she broke into a hazardous materials lab and stole something. So got to deal with that. And we see it's 10:45 at night, and as she's leaping through the town, she gets caught up by Poison Ivy, who is pretty much out for blood, it seems like, at least in the eyes of Catwoman, because she's like, "Oh, Poison Ivy, you're gonna kill me," and Poison Ivy's like, "I'm not Poison Ivy. Whatever you're seeing is a lie. Look at me, look at me." And then we see that it's actually Batman who is trying to deal with the fact that Catwoman has been dosed with fear toxin. So he sprays it with the antidote, and then we get all right, let's go back 15 minutes. How'd we get here? And apparently Scarecrow put a burner phone on Gordon's desk, and then Batman was called in to deal with it because Scarecrow has a hostage, and Batman has 1 hour to find Catwoman breaking into the hazardous materials lab, find out who she was going to see and where, and then find that person. If Batman can do all that in an hour, the hostage will live. Or, not in so many words. But regardless, cut back to now. Catwoman's recovering, and we see that she was stealing the anti-fear toxin capsules that Batman gave to the police because of that Batman the Dark Knight story arc, I guess. And Catwoman's like, "No, I wasn't anywhere near Scarecrow. I was just," and then Batman just starts like shaking her and just like, "Where were you? Who are you going to see? I'm running out of time." And he gets the information, but this is my first problem with this particular issue, is that he's not detecting anything. He's just shaking people down and like hoping that they have the info just already there. Like, he's not noticing anything. Regardless, she does manage to get the name of her fence, like the person who set her up with this job, and his name is Digger Jones, and he's apparently in a dogfighting ring right now. So Batman busts in and asks everybody, "All right, where's Digger?" And Digger's gone running, so he pulls out a gun, and he's like, "All right, Batman, I got a gun. Don't you try anything." And Batman just busts through a wall and grabs him. And immediately afterwards, we see him tied up and about to be fed to his dogs. And Batman's like, "I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it if you don't give me the answer." And Digger immediately cracks and was just like, "Okay, all right, I was going to meet these guys with some of my best dogs, and they were going to experiment and stuff like that." And he gives up the street address. But as he does so, Scarecrow calls up, and he's like, "Oh, you're doing well, Batman, but you still have to find the people that he was going to meet up with. Leave Digger to the dogs and get on with the thing." And then Batman's like, "All right, I know you can see me now, so I'm going to just stop you now." And he jumps out the window, immediately finds Scarecrow on a nearby rooftop, and was just like, "All right, you better pray that you were kidding about that hostage, because this is not going to end well for you." And he's like, "I never told Gordon there was a hostage," which he didn't. Gordon just kind of assumed that. But he said that there was a victim, and that the only way Batman could save this quote-unquote victim is by doing these tasks. And so basically Batman just doesn't want to hear about it, and he starts beating the crap out of Scarecrow. And Scarecrow's like, "You idiot, you're gonna ruin everything, ah!" And as he's like kicking Scarecrow to the ground and is about to like take him out, Scarecrow pulls out a picture of a young 10-year-old boy, and he's like, "Oh, you'll find him here. This is where the boy is. He's at that address that Digger gave you." And Batman's like, "Ugh, all right, fine." So he ties Scarecrow up, and he goes on his way to the address that was given to him. And when he gets there, he sees a whole bunch of people dressed up as like Scarecrow. So clearly they're putting on some sort of act. But he just goes through and starts knocking them all out because they're just hired goons. He gets in, well, before he even gets inside, we see inside is Eli Strange, who was introduced in that backup story like 4 issues ago. Okay, he's the son of Hugo Strange. I don't like that backup story told me nothing about him. So this is just he's here now, and apparently he wants to get those the all the drugs or whatever loaded up. So he gets a call from his dad, Hugo Strange, who's just like, "Oh, shut up, Eli. My sources are saying you got to get out of there." And Eli's like, "What? What am I supposed to do? Just leave the chemicals here?" He's like, "You idiot." And then Batman comes in, knocks out Eli, takes care of all the goons, and he's like, "Where's this boy? Tell me where this boy is." And then he looks at Eli, and he looks at the picture. He's like, "Ah, oh, son of a bitch, you're the boy. Dang it." And then we just get a one-page recap of like everything we're supposed to know about Eli. Of he was super duper smart growing up, and he didn't know who his father was, and he was raised by his mom until she died, and then he was bounced around a couple of different homes. He worked for the Pentagon, and now he's the son of Hugo Strange, I guess. I don't know. Basically, it just ends with one panel of Batman saying, like, "I stopped the chemicals from getting to the city. Crisis averted. Story over." So, yeah. I mean, it's a one and done. It's so weird that they were building off of that. Like, is that all we're doing with Eli? Is that it? Because when I talked about that backup, I think I was like, oh, maybe they're setting something up for the future. And I mean, they might still be, but it seems like he's done. He's just arrested, and he was kind of shit at the things he was doing. So, are we just done with him? Was that it? Was that the whole setup? I don't know. Oh, sorry. No, it was Eli. Yeah, they also call him Elliot, so whatever. Point being, it's fine. It's just a one and done. It's kind of interesting, but at the same point, like, it's just Batman shaking a bunch of people and then coming to the conclusion, like, well after he should have. So, I don't know, I'll give it like a 6. It didn't feel detective-y, and I know Detective Comics doesn't have to feel that way, but that's how it was pitched back in issue 1, and it just feels like it's been getting lesser and lesser over the course of this whole series. So, next issue is a tie-in to the Night of the Owls event that's going to be going on. We'll deal with that as we do, but yeah, no, this was just like a 6. It's perfectly like whatever. It's not harmful, but it's not great either.